Okay guys, I got permission to go back and look at the rest of the auction here. Got some nice IH wheel weights, utility, standard letter series, two-piece weights. These are probably for utilities also. Should have a good picture of the casting number right there. There you go. In the back are more of those weights and some F12, F14 steel. They look like they are in decent shape. Really nice little 2-point plow here. It is pretty much wire brush those and ready to go to the field if you really want to know. I like this little manure spreader also. The wood in the bottom's rough, but man, overall, it's in really nice shape. Alright. I don't know that much about those utility ones, but this is what I came down here to look at. This is a Super MTA. Sadly, this engine is stuck. We're going to wipe off the serial number here, see if we can get a good look at it. It is not a Louisville model. I'm not going to scratch that with my knife or anything. We'll do this the old-fashioned way with a little bit of water. And there we go. I think maybe we might be able to see that now. But it has an S under it, so it is not a Louisville tractor. Overall, this is a really complete Super MTA. It does have power steering. Does have a little bit more modern air cleaner bowl on it. The hood and the gas tank and the grill all look nice. The spin outs are in pretty solid shape. The tires are not much to look at, but you know how it is. Luke's given the old torque amplifier level a try there. Now we're going to do some shift work. Seems pretty decent. Clutch moves okay. So overall, this is a pretty good project to start with. We're going to go around here, see if we can get it to turn over a little bit by the fan. From what I was told, these have been sitting for several years. This one was actually used a couple years ago, so it may not be that bad of a deal. He's going to give the old engine a tug on the fan while he's holding the belt. So, nope, she doesn't budge. Alright. So it does have spin outs on it and wheel weights. Nice unit, good project. It's one of 3. So we're going to mosey on down the road here a little bit. See what else we got here. It does have this weird hydraulic setup sitting on there. And the mower does not sell with it. Battery box is shot. About average on play for a steering wheel, so take it for what it's for. I think it's a really nice unit to be a project. Mosey on down this way. We're going to go over here and check out some of the smalls that are on this auction.
In here we had a handful of shovels that we liked the looks of and some gas cans down there in the corner.
That right there is, that's my favorite style of spade hidden back there. I might have to watch that auction.
Having a acetylene torch and then a couple sets of nice tires, but they were looking pretty hard.
Alright, we'll mosey on back down the other way here. I think what we're going to see next is, where do we go next? And sorry to mention this, but our mics acted up, so we had to switch to a voiceover. We'll mosey on down the road here just a touch. Yeah, we're going to go look at the Super W6TA. Now, those are brand new rubber on the back of that thing that have sat there and weather checked a little bit. It looks like he was in the middle of a major restoration. You can still see the nubbins. And that's just too bad, but he's really got this thing cleaned up nice. I don't know what that is protecting the serial tag, but there she is. Overall, everything appears to be here in the back pile. The fenders, the shroud, radiator, hood, grill, they all look very, very solid all the way through. There's the hood for the 350 if we bid on that, right, Luke?
Yeah.
There's the mower deck for the mower, too. I'll be danged, I didn't notice that. This is another lot that's on the auction.
It's got some cub parts, an old radiator, and a couple toolboxes. There's also some alternator parts and other little bits and pieces.
There's a live hydraulic pump for, I think, an M and above. Set of sockets back there we noticed.
This toolbox up on the table was pretty well full of stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of everything in there, isn't it? All right. I'll tell you what, I'd kind of like to have that carport with that concrete here just to store stuff on, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know what part of the shed we put it onto though.
That is a nice hood and grill for, I think, a Farmall H. I really thought that hood went for the 39 that's out front, but there's no hole for the little gas tank, so maybe not. Another selection of some part lots, rims and tires, cylinders. Those are some homemade battery boxes, kind of nice. Definitely for a 6 volt. This is another lot of stuff.
The main thing in this lot was the real big air compressor and then the wrenches, I believe.
Yeah, there's also a grinder and a vise and just a lot of stuff all through there. You're bidding on from basically from that piece of wood to the end of the end of the shed. So, yeah, top and bottom, you're taking her all. It looks like. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna. That's a nice air compressor too. All right, moseying over here, we got a utility front end, a couple of parts worth, the old backhoe in the back. We get down here to the other row of parts tractors that we didn't get to look at last time. We got an Alice, and I'm not sure what that is. Luke, you have a guess? A B, an A, a C, something like that.
I don't really know what any Alice's really are.
But it is complete. I couldn't get my hand in there to see if it would turn over. But it did not seem like too bad of a little unit. Luke's checking out the shifter on it. This is another Alice. It's an industrial, like a B10, B12 era tractor, but industrialized, so kind of neat, but not something I would want to try to work on. The grill's missing on it. So here is the third Super MTA.
Now this one was in a lot rougher shape than the first two. Tires had been sitting there and are all worn out. It's been sunk into the ground. Manifold was rusted off. But it also has spin outs and a set of wheel weights on it.
Yeah, here in a second. It does have power steering too, so that's kind of nice. But here in a second, I'm going to give that can a wiggle to see what it looks like down in there, and that whole top of that manifold just comes out.
And this one was also completely locked up to where the fan almost cracked off.
Yeah, right here. Watch this. Oop, yep, there we go. She rusted off right there, and that's too bad. So,
That and the TA on this one seemed to be seized up.
the lever wouldn't move. Yeah. It does have fenders. It's got a couple toolboxes on the back.
Seat's halfway fallen off of it.
So here is the neat one. This is actually an H. Alright, and it is one of the late model Super H's. If you look right there, you can see the front end with the pins on the corners and the Super H carburetor. But it is a Super H. Again, it's hard to read the serial tags with the sun in the background. And the sheet metal, strangely enough, isn't with the tractor. It's over in another lot. So she's stuck too. I couldn't get her to budge at all. But right back here behind me, let's see if I turn. Not yet. Alright. I didn't find a radiator for this. Did you see it anywhere?
I don't think there was one anywhere unless it was the one on that table.
Yeah. So that's a pretty rough Stage 2 Super H, as they call it. There's a various parts pile of 200, 300 Super C right here. There is your Super H grill on the left and the hood that go to that tractor. So keep that in mind if you're bidding on it. And they're in pretty solid shape overall. This is another one of those sheds where you're bidding on lots. See the orange tape? You're bidding on everything on that bench and back in that wall area there.
There's two big old Lincoln welders laying face down on the floor there.
That might be the radiator for the Super H2. Back over here, you got the other section. Big pile of iron on that iron stand there. That'd be nice to have. There's that little lift for the cub. Mosey on out here. Each one of these lots below us are knives and whatnot for chisel plows, etc. Yeah, mosey over here and we'll take a look at this. I think it's a 300 or a 350.
It's been sitting here for quite a while too. Its front tires are sunken and in the back are pretty well dry rotted. This sheet metal on this 300 or 350 appears to be pretty straight, but it is covered in a nice layer of lichens and moss. Paint on it looks alright. Worth saving if you're into those tractors.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a chance it could be saved, even with the tires being bad. So we're going to take a walk now after we look at that huge pile of lumber. But we're going to walk down here and look at a couple of the vehicles and then some of the other, not sure if they're parts tractors, not sure if they're project tractors. So, yeah. Stuff at this auction is pretty well spread out and all over the place. But coming up here, we've got a small, like D10 Alice, maybe D12. I'm not sure about that, but the lift is on it. The tires are shot. The engine's been open to the environment, and I didn't see a radiator or any sheet metal with it, so take that for what it's worth. In front of it is a really nice set of 36-inch rubber, though. Whatever Super C 230, 220 model unit this is, those are a nice set of tires, but what you see is what you get. No radiator, no sheet metal. I was not able to turn the engine over when I grabbed a hold of the crank pulley either. So, you know how that is. Really nice wide front on it. I didn't see any brakes or welds anywhere. So, overall, I wouldn't mind at least watching that tractor also.
We have another 200, 230 or a Super C down here with good rubber all around, a 2-point with everything but the hood pretty much. And it looks like it might have a setup for some power steering, but without the unit on the steering shaft.
Yeah, we actually got the engine to turn over here a little bit when we grab a hold of the crankshaft. It was pretty stiff, so we didn't force anything, but you can kind of see it move there once we get it in there. We didn't put much, or Luke, I should say, didn't put much pressure behind it. It is pretty stiff though. Yeah, there we go. Engine rolls over. So, keep an eye on that one also. Now we've got a bit of a walk down here, but we've got a couple other old manure spreaders that are pretty well gone, but unique. And then this awesome old 1-ton Ford grain truck. Got some nice artwork on the door from God knows when, but overall it was a great unit during its time. Sadly, right now it's probably destined for the parts bin or the scrapyard, one or the other. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of a walk down here and look at the plows. A couple old sprayers. A heck of a disc. I think that's an old Super C over there. That's strictly just pieces and parts from the condition it's in.
Got some old culvert and a nice IH plow up on top of it. We're not too sure on why it got put there, but it might be part of a scrap lot or it might be on its own. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind bidding on that plow some. Points look good, moldboards look good. Here's another big 3-bottom. This one by far I think would be the best one to bid on with the Super Chief bottoms. You know, I mean, 3-bottom's kind of nice when you need to really work something, but a 2-bottom, you can always pull a 2-bottom. We take this down in some of our bottom ground, Luke, and we don't have hardly big enough tractor to pull that. Yeah. This is a little bit newer version, I think. I'm not that into plows, neither is Luke, so We just looked for whether or not they'd be feasible to use. Gigantic old semi mount right there. Up here's another big plow just a few more feet away. Now, uniquely, what was that vise called that was bolted to this thing?
A Reed's number 109. It was listed as 200 pounds, and the bid as of today was up to about $5,000.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a vice of vices, a 109 Reed, you said, right? Yeah. But it was just bolted right there. I mean, you can kind of see the rust spot where they got it taken off. So, not every day you see a vice bring $4,500, $5,000. So, again, check this out. This is the Gail Russa auction, Kyle Kelso auctions here in Western Illinois. Overall, pretty good auction from what I can see. Now, walking up through here, you can see where a lot of this stuff left in the trees has been reclaimed by nature. It's just kind of neat how the trees have grown up through some of the stuff. And over here by the pond, we got a whole row of equipment. Got a nice two-bottom Trip International there. Really clean overall. One of the points on the bottoms is a little rough, but nothing serious.
And over here on this end, we had a couple Alice plows that we really don't know too much about, but they look to be alright as well.
Yeah, that two-bottom Alice there would be kind of neat. So, moseying down this way, we got some Alice semi-mounts. There's a one bottom and another big three bottom for Alice. That's a big plow there. I don't know what happened to this one, but the adjustment lever there is bent. I think maybe that could be heated up and straightened back out. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. See what it brings. But as you look along in there, if you're ever bidding on any of the scrap piles for here, those woods are clear full of scrap iron. There are old sickle bar mowers of various makes. There's a couple of manure spreaders. There's a disc. There's some plows. And we'll walk in here just a little bit so you can see some of the other stuff. That right there is like a hay rake, hay conditioner of some sort, sitting right next to a big old plow. And we got some rear side panels for the 1-ton truck laying there. And you can see that plow right there. It's got those two trees growed up through it. I'm going to walk in here a little closer, and it'll tell you that plow hasn't moved in probably 20 years, 25 years. I mean, that's a good 12, 14-inch tree right there. And then there's another 8 to 9-inch tree up there in the center. We look over here at this one, and the tree's actually grown around it. Oops, sorry. No, this one's grown up through it again. Another plow that hasn't moved for 15, 20 years. Here's the one where it's grown around it. See if I can get a little closer through these brambles. But yeah, you can see that tree grown up around. I'm pretty sure it gets its daily dose of iron, don't you, Luke?
Yeah.
Alright, so here's something that's kind of neat. I like patina stuff. So this is like a cattle feeder or cattle water or something. Pride of the Farm, made over in Iowa. And I just really liked the overall look of that painting on the side of that, and then the cast letters up here. I think that's pretty cool overall. But anyway, this is all back here in different scrap iron lots, and you have to get it on your own. They're not going to load it for you. So if you're going to bid on any of this stuff, it is a certain time frame, and you got to have your own stuff to load.
There was also this old elevator here that was sunken halfway up the axle and tires into the ground. That's not going to move most likely this month.
Yeah, if you get a hold of that, you're going to pull something apart, aren't you? So there's a Super C carcass. There's another WD carcass. Here's an H of some nature's carcass that is definitely put in its time doing whatever. A couple more piles of parts there and here.
Here's a toolbar that we looked at for using at our place as a cultivator to knock up some dirt and some bottom ground to turn into a food plot for whitetail.
Yeah, I think we can weld on that and make it into what we need. Another Alice that's nice and complete. Doesn't look too hateful across the board. Didn't really get a chance to see if it was stuck or not, but it is complete, and one of the rear tires held air, so a worthy opponent. This poor old H is about shot, but it had some neat step-up pistons in it, if you take a look at them. About half of that piston is a half-inch taller than the other side, so kind of neat. Yeah, you can see where some of these buildings have definitely given up the ghost. There's a bunch of stuff down in there. I'm not stepping inside of there. But we will go down and look at the combine here.
So up in this little awning, there's 3 bikes here with banana seats that are pretty worse for the wears now, but they've probably been ridden quite a bit.
Yeah, those are antiques for sure. Various parts underneath there. Just check out the old Schwinn snow fence.
Old Ford motor laying here.
No, go ahead.
We're not really sure what it was, if it was a 390 or a 400. Then there's the old combine as well. It's pretty well sunk into the ground, and it'll be fun to pull out if you get that.
It don't look bad though, does it?
It's pretty straight looking and not too rusty. Then over here, this old Ford truck, the whole rim's rusted out and just sunk into the ground.
That's been there a few years, hasn't it? So back out front, we got this really nice little compact here, and I mean this thing is clean, unmolested. A 284, really clean grill, sheet metal, wheels, tires, the whole 9 yards. I'd love to have that just overall for mowing in the yard, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini 1066.
I know. Or 1086, either one, white stripe or black stripe. Yeah, it looks like both. So everything seemed to be pretty good shape on it. I forgot to read the hours. A couple of really nice mounted plows that he's got cleaned up, prepped up, ready to run right there. And we're going to step over here. We're going to take another look at the Super M number 3, as I call it. It does have spin outs, it does have power steering, but man, is it locked up tight. And then we have the Stage 2 Super H, which it's got the wrong front wheels on it right there, I just noticed. The engine is stuck. And, well, the sheet metal's over there. There's the Super H starter. It's got the 230 grill on it instead of the Super H grill. And the sheet metal for it's right over there in that shed. So keep that in mind if you're bidding. Moseying back up the way, we're going to look at that first Super MTA we looked at one last time.
This one was in about the same condition as number 3. It's locked up pretty tight, but everything else on it's in a little bit better condition. Everything on it's relatively free, and it looks like it's been covered for a little bit.
Yeah, they said this one was used just a couple years ago. I'm just trying to see if maybe it was stuck lightly from sitting. I can't get it to budge. Front tires are shot on it. Out here, we're going back down to look at the one I'm interested in. This is the third Super MTA on the sale. Really, the two of them are the better two to look at. This one's also stuck, but it does not have power steering. Everything is free on it, and it moves pretty well. But sadly, I could not get the engine to turn over by hand. Front end's been welded on it. I just like the patina on this one, and I'd like to try to save that, is kind of my thinking. I know that's not an original paint job. And here's the last one of the day. This is that little W4 or standard, Super H standard. I just don't know how hard it would be to find a set of rims for it, because those rims are rusted out on the rear. But overall, again, it's just got a nice older paint job on it that a little bit of wax and a good washing would be about all I'd want to do to that. Don't you agree, Luke?
Yeah, but today for some reason didn't want to turn over like last time.
Yeah, maybe it's stuck in gear or something, I don't know. But overall, I think those two are probably the nicer ones. There it is, clear full of antifreeze. I just checked it. That is the nicer looking Super MTA there. The one with the spin outs is probably better optioned out with all the goodies. But anyway, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please tune in again.